I'm going to be leading this refresher today for the reports. This is just to jog your knowledge and provide you an update on when the reports are due, what are we looking for when you send us the reports, and just the data fields that are there. I'll take questions after I do the report or after I'm done presenting the report. I think it was said, please put your name and organization in the chat. I feel like everybody knows me. Also, since I'm feeling bad today because I have a cold, I'm not going to go on camera. Alrighty. So all of you probably are aware, are pretty familiar with these forums. These are our new reporting formats that were shared with everybody during the summer because we are moving away from the old format and standardizing everything so we can report data easily to our federal partner. We have 3 reports that we request from all of our contractors. Some of you might only have 2, but that's because it is the way that data is requested from us by ORR. So we have a monthly report, a biannual report or a 6-month report, and then an annual report, which is a summary of the monthly. I'm gonna get started with the monthly report. So it basically has 2 sheets. The rest of the sheets are instructions, or they are there to provide the lists for the drop downs on the report detail page. So the first page is pretty simple and self-explanatory. It is a summary of how many people were served. So what we're looking for is just standard information at the top regarding the name of the organization, project name, contract number, and the month the report is for. And then at the right after that, we have the name of the services you enroll people in. So this is a standard master report, so it has all of the services, but for your contract, you would only see the services that apply to you. So if you're doing employment and housing, you would only see employment here, and then right after that, you would see housing. And then you would enter the total number of people you enrolled unduplicated. So this will be unique numbers for each month. If you have, if you're serving 30 people and you enroll 12 of them in August and the remaining 18 in September, you'll put 12 in August, 18 in September. You wouldn't put 30 and 30 in both months. So these are unique numbers. We are looking for a breakdown by gender. It just says male and female, but that's the way the feds are asking for the information. We do have a little bit more detail on the details page, but on the summary page, that's what we have for now. We're gonna try and fix that going forward on the summary page as well. The month with eligible immigration status, so we want a breakdown of people who arrived here in the past 12 months or people who have been here for longer than that, so 12 months to 60 months. The reason we have that breakdown is because we are prioritizing services for people who just arrived, but we are still serving people for the very first 5 years of from their date of entry to the U.S. And then the next option on this page is service plans created and progressing towards goals. This is basically a yes/no answer. No, sorry, it's not a yes/no answer. It is a yes/no answer, but you'll put values here. So of the 10 people you enrolled in the program, how many of them have service plans created, and how many of them are progressing towards their goals? Is that clear for everybody? Do you have any questions on this page, or can I move on?
Hi, Sohail. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I just have a quick question on the progressing towards goals. Could you just define exactly what that means?
Yes, whether they are doing any activities to reach their goal. So if you enroll somebody in employment services, you plan with them, all right, they need to improve their English, they need to build their resume, they need to apply for jobs. If they do any of those activities within that month, you will count them as progressing towards their goals. If they are not, then they're not progressing towards their goal. Make sense?
Yep. And then one other question with service plans. For something like rental assistance, do you still expect a service plan to be created, or could it be just more of a stock? This client will be receiving X amount of dollars monthly for 6 months if there's no additional services beyond just the payment.
Well, hopefully, when you are providing rental assistance, there has to be a plan that, because it's not unlimited, you can't keep providing rental assistance for an indefinite amount of time. So hopefully you would, like the case manager would sit down with them, talk to them, and figure out what their plan is after 2 months or 3 months or 5 months. Once the rental assistance runs out, if you even case note that conversation,
yeah,
that is fine.
Okay.
That could be a service plan.
Great.
There isn't a specific format for the service plan.
Mm-hmm.
It is what your organization chooses to do, but we would like you to record it somewhere.
Great.
All right. Anything else? All right. I'm going to move on to the monthly report detail page. So this is the page that actually feeds the data to the summary page. So these two sheets should match. At least the aggregates from both sheets should match. Now, here we are looking at detail services provided for each individual. So first, we are asking for basic demographic information. The A number for each individual, this is a 6 to 9 digit number. It starts with an A, usually is on their I-94 or their visa or their EAD or green card, whatever document they have, the A number would be on it. We also want the A number for the principal applicant. That is, if you're listing other members of the family. So if there's a family of 4, there are 2 parents and there are 2 children, and you're providing, for example, youth mentorship services to one of the children. For the alien number, you would put the child's alien number, and then for the principal applicant, you'll put the parents' alien number there in that box. And then relationship to PA, there's a drop down from which you can choose principal applicant, spouse, child, parent, grandchild, other. Again, this is standard information that ORR asks from us, so we have to provide this. First name, middle name, last name, pretty self-explanatory, date of birth. Make sure when you're filling out the form that the dates are showing up the way we want it, so month, day, and year. If it is switching it, please let us know and we'll try to fix the form. For some people, it was switching it to day, month, and year. For some people, it wasn't, so we have no way of knowing who got the good copy of the file and who got the corrupted copy. So if it's not doing it the right way, please let us know and we'll fix it. Status or category, these are the immigration statuses. Again, please select from the drop-down. You wouldn't be able to enter any other fields here. This is the standard way that it is coded for ORR. And we just have to select one of those options. Gender, like I said, on this page, we have more options for selecting for gender. Again, this is data required by the Fed, so we just follow their template. For nationality, there's a page here with nationality codes. So if somebody is, for example, from, let's say, Bermuda, you will go to this page, find what the code for Bermuda is, and enter that code. Please don't. Okay. Somebody is on. Can you all unmute yourself? I can hear some background noise. Thank you. For nationality code, you would enter the code and not the full name of the country. Zip code, self-explanatory, city, county. Eligibility date, this is the date that they received their status. This is the date status was granted. So if they're a refugee, they would have a date on their I-94. That is the date they got that status. If they are SIV, it doesn't matter what their immigration status is. This is the date that they got that status. It could be the same as date of entry. Sometimes, for example, for asylum, for people whose asylum has been approved, this would be different from the date of their entry. So that's why we're asking for the date the status was granted. Migration status, I've got a lot of questions about this. This only applies to people who migrate in and out of the state. So this is somebody who was resettled in another state, moved to Oregon after some... Is there a way we can mute people on our end, Mike?
Let me see. But yes, if you're not talking, please just mute yourself.
Okay. All right. I think that worked. Migration status only applies to secondary migrants, so people who were resettled in another state and then moved to Oregon. And then if it is in migration, we will need a date. If somebody you were providing services to and they migrated out of state as well, please record that and put a date, put out migration and then the date. All right. Refugee Support Services enrollment date. This is the date that you enroll them in services in your organization. You don't have to go and find what date they were enrolled with other organizations. This is the date that you enroll them. For example, if you're providing multiple services, so you are doing employment and health and mental health and school assistance, and somebody is receiving 2 out of the 3 services, and whichever one is the earliest date that you enrolled the individual into, that would be their RSS enrollment date. And then exit date is for when people have an actual exit date. Moving on, it is the services section. It's in light blue. For each services section, you have a drop down to select the type of service, the date you enrolled them in, and then an exit date if there is an exit date. For housing, you have more options. So for housing, you can enter the type of service. You have to enter the household size, the date the assistance was issued, what month the rental assistance was issued, and the amount as well. And then for legal services, I believe you have status as well. So the type of legal, hold on, it's yes, so for legal services, you have the type of service, the status of the service, the date of enrollment, and the exit date. All right, and that is the monthly report format, which I have been receiving from everybody that I work with, or if I haven't, I'm working with them to make sure we get the reports. These are due on the 8th of each month with your invoice. So these will go, when you're sending your invoice to Suzanne, you'll copy whoever is your contract administrator. So that could be anybody from our team, me, Mike, Stephanie, Misty, Pedro, whoever is your contract administrator, you will copy them as well and make sure you have a copy of the report and the invoice together when you're sending it on the 8th of each month. Do you have any questions regarding the monthly report?
Hi, I apologize to take us back. I just had a clarifying question about the monthly report summary. I just want to clarify that for the service plan, that it is a value. So like a number that's been added there and then a number that's been added for the progress towards goal. Is that correct?
Yes, it is a number.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Any questions on the details page?
I do have a question, Sohail. On one of our contracts, we are providing housing services, but not necessarily rental assistance. But the section where it deals with specific services seems to be more geared towards fields that relate to providing rental assistance. Like it just asks for like the monthly amount that's being given, but not a lot of other details regarding services. Is that something that maybe was an error on our form, or should we just not fill in most of those fields if we're just providing like housing navigation rather than actual rental assistance?
Yeah, so it was a field that was missing from the original report. I have an edited template
Okay.
that I can share. Oh, if you don't mind me asking, who's your contract administrator?
I have Mike and
right.
Stephanie. I'm trying to think of which one that contract was with. That would be for the Afghan contract. Is that with you, Mike?
You're on mute, Mike.
Yeah, that's me. Guilty.
All right. No worries. So, Luke, why don't you send an email to Mike and me?
Okay.
Whatever fields you feel that are missing from your report, send an email and I'll try to get you a template that has all of those fields.
Will do.
All right. And again, like I said, these templates were created back in May sometime before we did any of our Ukrainian contracts. So for the Ukrainian contracts, there might also be missing some fields that are not in the dropdowns. If you feel like you are missing a dropdown service, send us an email. We'll try to include it. Do we have any other questions? Okay. All right. There is an instruction page on the monthly report. It's pretty basic. It tells you what to include, what not to include. Please don't edit any of the fields. The text on any of the headers, please don't change them. Because if you do or don't move columns around or remove or add columns, if you do that, then it creates a problem for us when we're compiling the information and the data doesn't look right. Other than that, Josh has his hand up. Yes, Josh.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Cool. I have two questions. First question is, you mentioned that whatever we put into this monthly report tab, that'll automatically feed into the monthly report summary tab?
No, it will not, but those two numbers should correspond.
Okay, and my second question is, does it have to be in Excel format or can it be in Google Sheet format?
Well, you can create it in Google Sheets and save it as an Excel document and send it to us that way. Because if you share a Google Sheet with us, it is hard for us to access and read it because the state uses Microsoft products.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no worries. Any other questions? No? Okay. I want to say, if you are providing for any of these services, but specifically legal and housing, I want to point out that if you're providing multiple services to an individual, you would put all of their information in that row. So let's say I am getting services. I'm getting services for legal. you're helping me fill out an EAD application. You provide that service in August. I'm gonna say filed. And then in September, you come in and provide me help with my asylum application. I want a full row for the new service. Same with housing. If you're providing multiple months of rental assistance, for each month, you will add a new row for that individual and put all of their information in. Make sense? Alrighty, I don't see any hands up, so I'm gonna move on to the next report. The next report is the 6-month or biannual report. These are due on October 15th and April 15th. The dates which each report is due is kind of provided there in the instructions page. All of you might not have a 6-month report. This is for specific services. So if you're doing employment, if you're doing school impact, which is our ORCIS program, if you're doing senior services, youth mentorship, or refugee health promotion, then you'll have one of these forms. Or if you're doing multiple, then you'll have multiple of these forms. But if you're not doing any of those services, for example, if you're doing housing or legal services, then you wouldn't have these forms because you don't have to do the 6-month report. Again, these are standard templates that we get from ORR. We haven't changed anything in them. The reporting period, you will give us what period you're reporting for. So if it is the first 6 months of the year, it will start from October 1st until March 30th of that year. You'll put the fiscal year in here. The state grantee, that would be us. So you would say Oregon Department of Human Services. The date you're submitting the report. Don't change the name of the grant. Keep it as it is. And then for employment, we get this information from our employment services providers. So IRCO for statewide, and then SFR for, I believe, 3 counties, Marion, Polk, and Yamhill, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong. I mix counties all the time. And these are just aggregate numbers. We don't need personally identifiable information here. These are just totals of how many people you served within those first 6 months. So how many people got employment services, how many people got on-the-job training, how many people got English language instruction, vocational training, and then this will be the total number of people. Again, this is not a sum of the 1 through 5. This is unduplicated numbers because one person could have received 3 of these services. So please don't add it up. Give us the total number of people you served, unduplicated. Am I making sense? Okay, yes, Luke.
I was just going to say yes.
All right. Well, I usually take silence as I am making sense. No questions means I explained it pretty well. Yes, Goran.
So this form, especially the one you're just explaining, when is it due to you guys? Is it monthly or?
No, this is 6 months. So
6 months, okay.
Yeah, the dates each report is due is written on the instructions
Oh,
page.
perfect. Okay.
So for October 1 through March 31st, it is due on April 15th. The next due date is coming pretty soon. It's on October 15th. That is for the whole year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So for the first 6 months, you will give us numbers for the first 6 months. For the second half of the year, you will give us the numbers for the whole year.
Okay, great.
For all of these. And again, these are, so this basically tells us how many people were placed in full-time employment, part-time employment. It talks about their average hourly wage, how many of them got health benefits if they were full-time employed, how many of them were employed after 90 days if they were getting full-time and part-time employment. And then you would give us a paragraph of what these numbers show. And again, this is usually from our employment provider, IRCO, so they know what they're doing here. If you have any specific questions, you can ask me otherwise. And SFR hasn't become the RSS employment service provider yet, so I don't think we're getting this information from you for this 6-month period. But yeah, don't quote me on that. All right, moving on to, this is the Refugee School Impact Program. This is for ORCAS. ORCAS is run through our contract with Lutheran Community Services Northwest. They usually provide this report to us every 6 months as well. Again, pretty standard stuff: program name, reporting period, grantee, fiscal year, the date the report was submitted, who is the contractor. So you would select one of these and then provide unduplicated numbers. So how many people, how many students were enrolled in the program, what kind of services they received. Did they receive parent-student orientation, grade promotion? There's a bunch of other services as well that would be in your contract. Senior services is also IRCO, same deal. This is just aggregates on the number of people you have served under the program and a breakdown by service type. Youth mentorship, we have a lot of grantees here. Similar to ORCA's senior services employment, it is just aggregates on number of people served and then breakdown by services. And all of these forms have a description portion where you would analyze the trends. If you're seeing an increase in the number of people who are getting a specific service, if you're seeing a decrease, what you think the reasons for that is. We usually lean heavily on the trends portion of these reports when we are reporting out to ORR, because that affects on what is happening statewide as far as that specific service area is concerned, and how much priority should be given to a specific type of service. Refugee health promotion. This is again only for contractors who have health or mental health components in their contracts. We have a lot of health and mental health in the Ukrainian and Afghan contracts. And for some of you, this is the first time you would be submitting this report. So talk to your contract administrator. I would say start work on it today. So we have this report by October 15th, and we kind of iron out any kinks if there are any in it. Again, this is just aggregates, total number of people served, and what type of services were provided. Do you have any questions? No, not even on the health and mental health one? Okay. Again, I want to reiterate, please start work on this report as soon as you can. These are due on October 15th, and we're hoping we will get everybody's reports by October 15th, because we have to compile all of this information on our end, and then we have to submit it to ORR, which is our federal partner. So we would need this data by that date. All right. I don't see any hands up. So I'm going to move on to the final report, which is the annual report, and it's the easiest one, I think, because this is basically the compilation of the monthly report. For the monthly report, we want all of the services you provided each month For the annual report, we just need the enrollment date and the exit date from services. So the summary page is exactly the same as your monthly report. It doesn't change. Whatever you have in your monthly report, you'll put it here, send it to us. The summary page, the actual detail page, that will change a little bit. So in your monthly reports, because you're adding the information for each month to the same sheet, you would have multiple rows for services for the same individual. On the annual report, we are asking you to just give us one line for each person. So if you're providing multiple services to an individual, you will have just one row for their basic information, and then for the different services they received, you will give us a start date and an exit date if they received any. So if somebody received 5 different types of services from your organization throughout the year, you would give us the start date for that specific service and an exit date, and then for row 23 and so for column 23 and 24, which is the RSS enrollment date and exit date, you will put the earliest enrollment date and the latest exit date. And that's all we're asking for in the annual report. This is also due on the 15th of October for the whole year. And that's basically it. Do we have any questions?
I guess just thinking through how many lines we may have by the end of a full fiscal year of contracting, it seems like a fairly tedious task. I'm just wondering if there's any ways to build in some of that into a spreadsheet to make it, a simpler task for that annual report detail tab in the future.
We are hoping that with our new system, all of that, if you're not aware, we are working on creating a database for the refugee program where all of the contractors would be able to enter services. So hopefully once that is ready, you wouldn't even have to send us these reports. We would be able to pull it. But until then, I thought about doing that, Luke. It is hard to figure out in Excel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay.
It doesn't automatically do it. I tried pivot tables. I tried using Power BI. It just doesn't do it.
Okay.
Or it messes up the data if it does.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no worries. For now, we are putting this on our contractors, but we're trying to fix it. And so for your monthly reports, I forgot to mention this, but for each month, we don't want a separate sheet. You will keep adding the new services to the same old sheet. So if you're sending us a report for September, it should have your August entries in the detail page and in the summary page as well. So it should just be a continuation of the same report. It should have the old data and the new data. All right. Do we have any other? Sure.
Maybe just a little confusing there is on the report summary tab, it does request the date, but if we're just using the same file over and over, are we just putting the new date and saving over, but just keeping one saved file? Okay.
Yeah. So when you send us the report, so you would send us one for August, we will save it as August, but it will just have August data. When you send us September, it will have August and September data. We will save it as September, but it has whatever months prior to that you provided services as well.
Okay.
You will just change it just shows a progression, because then at the end of the year, we wouldn't have to go and like combine all of it into one.
Mm-hmm.
It just saves a little bit of admin work on our end.
Great.
Any other questions? I feel like since this is just a refresher, you all have things figured out. Yes, Morvarit.
Hi, Sol. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, maybe I missed the beginning. I was a bit late, so I might miss this question. So about the alien number, about the this monthly report. So if we provide services to a family of 5, should we provide all the family members' name and alien number, or just one PA will be enough?
If you are providing services to all 5 members, please include them all.
Okay. And with all the details.
Yes.
I see. Thank you so much.
No worries. Nelly, you have your hand up.
Quick question. The new form was available sometime in spring. So when we do monthly report, do we need to enter data starting October 2022 or just since we received the updated form?
Since you received the updated form, but the annual report should include all of the year.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Mike?
I just raised my hand to draw your attention to a question in the chat. October 15th is a Sunday, so would reports be due on Monday the 16th or Friday the 13th?
Monday the 16th is fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, if it falls on a holiday, the next working day works. All right. I don't see any other questions. We still have time. So if you think of something, please pop it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask your question.
Would it be possible for you, Sohail, to email the forms one more time? I'm sure that you have done, but if it is possible.
Yeah, so if you, so I have the master form up right now. For each contractor, we have just left whatever sections you need to fill because it can be confusing. This has, I don't know, 8, 9 different types of services, and if you're not providing them and you see all of it, it might be a little confusing. Whoever is your contract administrator, can you email them and they will send you all of the forms again?
I will.
And
I will.
which
Thank you.
contract are you asking for? Is it Afghan, Ukrainian,
Whatever it is for Lutheran.
or Lutheran? Okay. Yeah, we can send the copies to Lutheran. I don't know. It might be Mike or Pedro, I think. We'll send you the copies of the. And do you want them to be sent to you?
I would appreciate that one. Yes, please.
Okay. All right, we'll send them to you.
Hi, Sohail. This is Mo.
Hey, Mo.
Could you also send it to me, please, for OCO RES program? Might be able to send it, or we might already have it, but I just want to make sure I have it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can follow up with you, Mo, and make sure you have it. And I have been in touch with Lutherans as well on the contracts I'm overseeing, making sure the templates are right. So yeah, just reach out if you still need help with that. And I just want to draw your attention, Sohail, to Peter's question. Can multiple contracts be consolidated into one report, or should they be separate reports?
Separate, please, Peter, because we have to report out, especially for Afghan and Ukrainian, we have to report out that information separately. So for you, Peter, I think that would be three separate. You know what? No, I think you might have another contract with us as well. So 4 for you. Do we have any other questions? All right, it seems like we don't have any other questions. If you think of something, you should all have my email. Just send me an email and I'll try to answer it. If you don't see the services you're providing and the drop downs on the monthly report, email your contract administrator and we will fix that report for you and send you an updated copy. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.